so there's no video. No video. I read video as I pushed it, and I fucking said it because I'm a programmed dog. There was no nuclear event this week, which is nice. So I still don't know what the theaters closing down is about, or not showing showings. Maybe you know, these things don't always go off. You know, maybe there's a hitch. I'm glad for it. I don't want these things to happen. Like, I'm not a fear-porn guy, but sometimes it's just good to be aware of the possibility. It seems like the ones that always do happen, though, are the ones that I wasn't looking at. It's always the ones I'm looking at that don't happen. I think that's just Dropkick Murphy's luck. But yeah, I'm glad for it. I haven't checked back to see if there are showings now at the theaters. Maybe they resumed. I have no idea. When the 6th came and went, I was pretty happy. Yeah, I don't want any of this shit to happen. Like, I'm fucking psyched about how things are in my life, like right now. I like it to stay just like this for as long as possible. You know, for things are so good for me, you know. I know they're not so good for a lot of people, and you know, it sucks, but things weren't so good for me for years and years and years and years and years, so I'll take it now, you know. But yeah, it's like, I don't sympathize with the evil weirdos too often, but their idea of trying to have a perpetual life here for themselves, I can kind of sympathize with it, because it can be pretty awesome. I mean, of course, I don't get up to the shit they get up to, because they're evil fucks, but I mean, you know, I wouldn't mind the status remaining quo for, you know, another 10 years, maybe longer, but happy with how things are. So yeah, I don't want those things to happen, like those things that may disturb, you know, what I got going, just out of selfishness, you know. I mean, there's already enough disturbances, I mean, or they try to make them disturbances, like, but it's all ridiculous bullshit. Like, I don't really care about the stuff that would be considered disturbances. Like, I don't give a fuck if I can't go into a movie theater, or you know, or certain stores. It doesn't. There's nothing they could threaten me with to fucking make me get the fucking science juice. I don't care. I fucking don't like movie theaters anyway. So yeah, like I just pass along information, you know, when I have it, and that's really it. But the FEMA was doing that thing on January 6th, the drill, and there's not always an event on the day of drills, but there's always a drill on the day of the events. Always. You can go back to any of them, look at any of them, and it's always the same. You know, whatever pretend tragic event happened, there was a drill nearby. Fucking always. Another always is these fucking things here. American Spirit. They're supposed to be organic, or as organic as a cigarette can get. They don't stay lit though. And sometimes you have to put them out. You need to call the fucking fire department. It's a strange one. Watching Doug over at UAP. He's a great channel, if you don't know that one. He's talking about the possibility that he actually saw on another channel he mentions, about elevation changes to whatever it is, this thing is we live on. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not a fucking ball. That's the most retarded shit ever. That concept is mockery. But, when it's the first thing you see when you're in kindergarten next to the teacher's desk is that fucking ball. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You just have to trust people that they're telling you the truth. And they think they're telling you the truth because it was the same bullshit that they were told. So, it's not really their fault. But you get this stuff drilled in your head right away. It's like, I'm in kindergarten, man. Dude, we gotta start talking about the globe and where continents are. I'm not even really up on going to the bathroom by myself yet. I don't, where the equator isn't really, high on my list of priorities for learning. But what he was saying is that it feels like the elevation has changed a bit as far as its relationship to pressure, air pressure. There's air pressure fluctuations and interesting stuff. But one thing he pointed out that resonated with me is it feels like we are closer to the heavens now. Like when I was a kid, the sun, while being goldenish yellow, the yellow sun, that was always the source of Superman's powers, was the fact that we had a yellow sun in our galaxy. It had a warm sort of glow to it. It was high in the sky. That's been replaced by this fucking blinding white searing thing that hurts to stay in for more than 10 minutes. Like for me anyway. It's this white fucking exploding sun type thing. It's so hot, and it's a different kind of hot. It's not that kind of warm glow. It's a more harsh kind of heat. Like I feel like sometimes when I walk out here in the afternoon, I try to stay out of the sun in the afternoon. I'll go inside between 12 and 2. But I feel like it's fucking burning my skin. It just feels toxic. And it's also a lot closer than it was. Like we used to have to look up. Like up, and there would be the sun way in the sky. Now it's like kind of right over the buildings. And it hurts. Same thing with the clouds. The clouds were way the fuck up there. You think of sitting down, like looking at clouds, seeing the shapes, trying to figure out what you think they look like as they float by. Now they're huge, and again, right above the buildings, and they just kind of sit there. They don't drift like they used to. They hang there, which I think was what he was saying about the atmospheric and pressure changes relative to moisture, which the clouds are. That guy must be wicked tough. You can always tell the tough guys when they just have the music cranked. And that kind of music too is funny because it's always about dicks. It's like there's kids walking by with old people and they pull up blasting that garbage about dicks. My dick and my dick and my dick. Is like, yeah. That's like the first thing you notice when you're sentient. Hey, look, our child does. Oh, I have a dick. Wow. That's the mentality we're talking about here. But the degrading music situation is another topic. It's happened purposely. It was never like that. Even hip hop stuff wasn't like that. There was, and it's not just because I'm old. There was something kind of to it. I mean, no matter what you think about it or what they were talking about, there was a lot of, during the era of gangster rap stuff, the early 90s. I like the Ghetto Boys, and Dre was doing musical stuff. But now it's just a guy with autotune talking about his dick, and occasionally the club. And it's like, man, it's just totally went from having some kind of substance to just being lowest common denominator. It's crazy. But that's goes along with everything in art and music. It's all been degraded, and it's still going down. But yeah, the clouds. When I look out over the mountains, over that way, the beach is this way. I never show the ocean, even though it's here. I live at Waikiki Beach. It's always right behind these buildings that I'm walking by all the time. I don't go to the beach proper too often because there's a bunch of psychos there. Everybody wants to know what the fuck you're doing, and I get bothered a lot. So I don't like to go down there. And there's way too many tourists. And I mean, you see how these people walk. Just all different kind of versions of slow and fucked up. So down there, it's like way worse. But yeah, the mountains over here, the clouds kind of meet them and kind of fall on them. Like, it looks like whipped cream on top of like a sundae or something. It's really weird. The moon's way closer. Totally. Like, I can see the craters of the moon. Where is it? I was looking at it when it came out, but I can see the moon and its craters clearer than I can see some of these signs that are 2 blocks away. I think it was also on UAP channel where he pointed, was it UAP? It might not have been. It might have been someone else that pointed out that the moon is basically a compass, and that if you were to take a picture of the craters, you could lay it down on top of a map, and the craters actually outline the different continents, which is pretty interesting. The thought was that if you're traveling at night, you could still know where you're going by looking at the moon. I don't know. I don't know a lot about that, but it's kind of interesting to think about. All right, going back into 333. Well, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to 333. I'm going to go to Launch, which is a little bit down this way. So yeah, that's okay. I got fucking plenty to talk about. Police sirens. Hear a lot of ambulances here. Kind of more than ever before. I don't know if it's just because there's well, no, it's not a really heavy tourist time. Things have slowed down here big time. Like, right after Christmas, it kind of died here. Like, it emptied out big time. My wife works in like food service cafe type place, and they went from making I think like $5,000 a day to like 1,200 a day, which is a pretty big drop off. And that happens every year though. After Christmas time, it really gets quiet. And since the coof came in a couple years ago, it's exasperated the decline of people, you know. There's a lot less people.
Wait 2 hours. Then we go to Costco.
Sephora, I'd like to go in there someday. It's probably really expensive though. I buy all my makeup at Long's. I know it's a little pricier in there, but a lot of these stores you see are just here for advertisement purposes. They're here to just be here. Like, they don't need to make money. They're all, you know, chains, like high-end store chains. And the idea is, you know, much like other places like, you know, Rodeo Drive or famous shopping areas, they're just there to be there. You know, like, hey, we're here, you know. But some of these buildings are incredible in size. Like that Tiffany's on the corner over there, all the way down with the blue. It's 2 floors. So much space in there. A ton of space, and it's always empty. You always get those armed guards. All these places have the armed guards. The really sketchy looking dudes in the tuxedos. They look like penguins. They probably have like a you know, I don't know what they would be carrying as far as firepower. I don't know what would be required, or if there is like a certain thing they can carry or what they can't, but maybe like a 9mm or something would be adequate. I don't know. You don't really see these places get hit too often. Because people know, isn't that kind of a amazing thing? If people know there are guns there, they don't try to mess around. What an incredible idea. Yeah, this is really, really, really quiet. I mean, you know, there's people milling around, but this is nothing like normal. I think it's Friday too, right? It's Friday. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it's Friday. Shit. Yeah, this is nothing for Friday. You get a lot of tourists here, and I don't understand why, because there's really nothing to do here. Like, there's restaurants, right? But there's good restaurants everywhere. These high-end stores, you can also find these places anywhere. And like Waikiki Beach, I mean, it's famous, but it's not like super quality. It's not that big. And the area where everyone goes is always fucking packed. I don't get it. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but for me, it's like, and the stories too, they're not good. Like, it's all, I mean, if you're a woman or homosexual, it's awesome. But if you're not, then you're kind of fucked, because there isn't anything here that like a guy would want to see. You know, like a straight dude. Louis Vuitton. Yeah, it's like the only thing I got around here to go to is Ross over at 333 or GameStop. You know, I want to buy a $35 action figure, I'll go there. But the people at GameStop are fucking twats. It's like, I swear, when they get guys to work there, part of the test is their douchiness factor. It's like, oh, were you raised by a single mom? Okay, that's good, check that box. Fuck, man, it's like, for the worst. They keep me out of there. And I would drop money there. I used to drop money there a lot. I'd go in there and spend a couple $100, and they keep me out of there because they're so fucking annoying. It's like, hey, can I help you? No. Okay, well, I'm gonna wander around anyway and just kind of circle you with my fucking, looking like a fucking pedo. They all look like pedos too in there. I don't know. It's a weird fucking employee process that they have. All right, I'm gonna go into Longs here. You don't need to join me for this, but don't blame the teacher, blame the school. Got nothing against church or people that go there.